can imagine it's very different to being the sole performer when you're there as part of a larger group.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're directed. You've got a script. You're portraying a character. So essentially, in that couple of hours, you've got to become whoever your character is. And I much preferred being on stage and being me. And I think that's the one thing that I've really tried to hold on to, even when I do live performances. I don't really feel that people are seeing much of a different Colin Kerwin than they would see off stage, and I'm kind of proud of that fact. So I love theatre for what it is, but I prefer doing what I'm doing and getting the opportunity to, especially as a songwriter, to really write songs and explain why you wrote that, or just tell a bit more of your story.
So is that what made you realise you had to move to Nashville?
Well, no, not quite then. Not long after Jesus Christ Superstar, I had the opportunity to tour with Dad. Initially, it was only going to be like a 6-7 week thing on a tour that he was doing, but I got the bug, one would say, and I just, I fell in love, and I realised that as a kid, really, that's what I dreamt of. It wasn't doing musical theatre. It was to be like my dad, I guess, essentially, is what I dreamt of as a kid. And I kept doing it, and I fell more in love with it. And then I toured with Dad for about 2-3 years. And that was a great opportunity for me, because I really got to learn from one of the best, I think, in the business, and really learn how to work with an audience. I guess really learn to be myself on stage, because initially I find it hard to break down that shell. I was a little bit uncomfortable initially, but through the years I got more and more comfortable just kind of being myself, being a little bit fun and goofy and sentimental and all those things, and through the years with Dad that happened. But equally through near the end of that period with Dad, I was starting to really as an artist, just wanting to go out and spread my wings and kind of do my own thing. I would come off stage every night with Dad, and I would do like about 35-40 minutes, and I was like, I just didn't want to come off stage. I was like, I want to do this, and Dad's fans were amazing to me, and I just loved what I was doing. But equally, it made me feel that at some stage I was going to have to go off and do my own thing, and that's kind of where the beginnings of going off to Nashville. At that stage, I was very much getting involved in songwriting, so really that was what kind of pushed the move to Nashville initially. And as soon as I landed in this town, I just really felt something within me. Felt like I'd found home, definitely creatively, and I just loved everything about it. It was kind of from that point on that I started putting in all the right building blocks to make the move to Nashville.
And what about when you write songs? What ideas do you get from them? Do you get a sudden inspiration, or do you sit down and think, I'm going to write a song today and start with a clean slate?
It's always different. There's no one easy answer to that. I've been very fortunate. Sometimes I can wake up and almost like in my dreams I've written a song, and it was just written. Sometimes I feel like songs. I'm a pretty spiritual guy in my beliefs too, and I really do believe sometimes that I feel like songs are given to you. I've had many occasions where I've just woken up in the morning and it wasn't difficult. I just wrote a song and it came out very fast. Other times I've sat down in a co-writing situation and we've started from a title of a song, or the hook as they call it out here, and we've tried to structure the song about what do we think this song would be about, and we write it like that. And then other times I've written for people where it's just been very spontaneous, and you just start from an opening line, or maybe that morning I might have had a guitar melody, or I wrote a song recently with a girl called Jessica Ridley, and I had pretty much written the whole melody of the song, note for note. We didn't change anything. And I had an idea of what the song would be about, and she just totally got it as well, and we ended up writing the song. So there's all different ways. I like all of the ways. I have to say, I love when you wake up and a song's just there. They're the easy ones, but co-writing's fun as well.
Which comes first, or again, does it vary? The sort of lyrics or the melody? Which do you think of first?
Well, I have to say for me, pretty much melody. I've always been very melody driven, and I probably think that's one of my strong points in a co-writing situation. However, the one thing I've really tried to push myself in Nashville is to work harder on lyric as well. I know it's inside of me. Is sometimes maybe in the early days it was a confidence thing, but the more I write, the more you kind of practice that muscle. And for example, I came back from a show last night and I just started writing kind of a verse and a chorus of a song. I haven't put any melody to it yet, but so I guess on a whole melody, but a lot of times lyric also.
Now, tell me about the sort of Celtic Irish influence, especially with some of the songs on the latest album, particularly the Lumber song. That's what appealed to me as soon as I heard it the first time. Is this something that you want to develop with your music?
As my career progresses, please God, I really feel that that's more and more the direction I want to go. It's funny that it almost took me to move to the States to get even more in touch with kind of my roots, my Celtic and my Irish roots, and living away from your country and your family tends to make you, I guess, very patriotic and proud. And to me, a good kind of patriotism, not a crazy kind, just a very much a love of country and love of family, and with that came a lot of just listen to more Irish music and really realizing also that the roots of country music kind of come from bluegrass, and the roots of bluegrass music come from traditional music, which the immigrants who came to the United States, Scotch and Irish, mainly brought over those Celtic instruments and that traditional music, then turned into the kind of the mountain music, which was bluegrass. I just had the fortunate, I've been on tour with Don Williams, and this weekend we were up in the Smoky Mountains, and you can see all that history there. So to me, it was a very natural progression that for country music, and I was also told when I came out here, you got to use what you got, and I am an Irishman trying to break into the commercial country scene here in the United States, so it just seemed like a very natural thing. The more that I've gotten into it, as I say, the more that I want to experiment even further with it. It's kind of like, all right, we've gone that far. How far can we go with this? And I do listen to a lot more Irish music now, and I try to, as much as possible, to really think about those things when I'm writing songs as well.
So tell me, you mentioned the tour with Don Williams. How's that going? And of course, earlier you were in the UK with the tour, and Ireland as well. How did that go? It's
amazing, really. I was really blessed to get the opportunity, through management, to tour with Don in the UK and in Ireland. And it was amazing because, I've been over here in Nashville now for just over 2 years, and it's been a lot of, writing and developing who I am as an artist. So it was a little bit scary kind of get back on stage, especially to a lot of fans who had seen, let's say, the old Colin. I don't think I've changed that much, but, so there has been some change. But the great thing about the Dawn tour was the response was just so warm and welcoming from fans who had known me from the past, but also from a lot of Dawn's fans, and it really gave me the confidence to know that I'm going in the right direction. Well, fast forward to here, to then get the opportunity to tour with Dawn again. It's just amazing, and this is my first time really touring around the United States, and the audience reaction has been unbelievable, literally unbelievable. Every night I laugh and joke. I called my dad the other day. I says, geez, Dad, I feel like DK. And he says, what do you mean? I says, I come out in the intervals and after the show, and there's just a big, long line. Dad was always very notorious for taking the time to meet the fans after the show. And it's just been crazy because just these people who have never seen or never heard of me before, just really long lines of people just standing, taking photos and meeting the people, and I've really enjoyed that, and it's again given me more confidence as an artist to progress here musically in the States. And it's just been amazing, and to work with Don again is just an absolute privilege. You know, there's not many living legends, and the word legend sometimes gets thrown around, but I really feel like he's an artist that deserves that title, because he is, and every night you just see it, you know, over 20 number one songs in the States, and songs with meaning. I think I mentioned to you earlier on, the one thing I feel like, you know, with every tour you do, you should learn something. I was really like, you know, what have I learned from this? And recently it just dawned on me that I feel like the more I progress in my career, the one thing Don's taught me from talking to him and his management was Don always, he recorded songs that meant something. You know, they weren't just throwaway songs, and I feel like that's where he's got his timelessness from it. You know, people can really relate to those songs. People own those songs in their own way, you know, whether it be through good times or bad or tragedy or whatever, but you know, sitting down, they grew up with these songs, or they helped them through certain times in their lives. So then when they see the Don's in town, they want to get there and they relive those memories and those times, and it's a beautiful thing to see. And it's really made me think about, to really, for every album that I go on to cut, that to really be careful about the songs that I choose to record.
Yes, I can imagine. You mentioned the warmth of the audiences. Do you find that varies between, say, America and the UK or Ireland?
I mean, I guess sometimes people want to hear that, you know, people are, you know, I think, to me, the world has always been a small place, a big place, but a small place, and people are people, and I can't say there is a big difference, really. You know, they've all been just really warm and really nice, and sometimes if you closed your eyes and you didn't think about it, you'd be sitting in a theatre in Glasgow or London or Belfast or Dublin, as opposed to Charlottesville in North Carolina or Pigeon Forge in Tennessee. I can't say I've seen a massive, now again I'm very new to it in the States, but I haven't seen a massive difference. I will say maybe back home, I've always found I've always loved, you know, when I toured with that, there was definitely certain audiences that were a little bit rowdier or a little bit louder. I kind of like that. I like feeling like, you know that there's people out there. The Americans aren't afraid to shout up if they like something. So I like that. I like that interaction, and but not as to date, not much of a difference. They've all been very nice.
Well, we've got lots of questions coming in from the fans who are asking one main question, which I'll come to in a moment, but here's an interesting one from Rona Lunsden, I think it is, yes, and she says, are you thinking of making a DVD for us Kerwin-starved fans? That's how she describes herself, who miss you folks.
I would love to. You know, the one thing I've, I guess, discovered about the music business, it's a slow process, and it's kind of like bit by bit, and I really feel like with this album, what we're trying to do now is get out there, tour the album, you know, try to sell it, try to spread the word about Colin Kerwin, and please God, then get a record deal, which I think will make things much easier again. Of course, we want to be doing DVDs and more music videos, but it's just bit by bit trying to put all the pieces together. There's nothing in the pipeline just as yet for that. I am talking about going to shoot a new music video for a single of the album that we're talking about releasing in the UK next year in Ireland, but hasn't been confirmed yet, so I'll not speak to you.
That's something to wait for. You can let us know when that happens.
I will do.
Helen Pearson has said she saw you in Scotland and she thought you were great. And also we've got a message from, where are the other two? I've had one from Lorna and one from Keeley. Lorna's in Dumfries. Keeley is in, where's Keeley? Ipswich, and they both say, when are you coming back to the UK?
Well, soon. I think people always are worried that now that I'm living in America that I'll forget about everybody, and that's never going to happen. I think
Good.
that's where I started my trade, and please God, that's where I'll finish it up to. But obviously, living in the States is not as easy just to jump across and do shows every night or every weekend. But it always will be very much a big, major part of my career to tour Ireland, of course, and to do England, Scotland, and Wales. So I will be back for Christmas this year at home. I spent 2 Christmases away from my family, and I kind of vowed last year that I'm
going to be there. Yeah, this year.
Well, even though I spent it with amazing people, amazing friends of mine out here, Joey and Rory. Christmas it's a time for family, and until the day that I have my own family out here, then I want to spend it with family in Ireland. So I will be going home for Christmas this year, and then I'll come back to Nashville, do hopefully a bit more stuff with Dawn, and then the talk is, I think it's almost confirmed, so I guess I can say it right now, but I will be back to tour the UK and Ireland in late February, early March. As in we'll beginning the tour in late February, and it's kind of looking like the tour is going to be somewhere between 4 and 5 weeks at the moment. So there'll be plenty of opportunities. We're going to try to get around as much of Scotland, Ireland, and England as possible. And we've got some very interesting guests. It'll be my kind of first, I guess, headlining tour, but we'll have some guests here from America coming with me, and yeah, so
that'll be spectacular. Looking forward to that already. And make sure you don't forget the southwest of the UK. We always get left out round here. Well, how about playing something from your album? I've got the whole album here. Have you got a favourite track? Is it fair to ask if you've got a favourite track or not?
Well, I mean, for me, favourites are always like depending on what mood you're in. Sometimes I can jump in the car. Funny, I hadn't listened to my album since we released it, and last week there I just decided to stick it on because I don't particularly like listening to myself singing. I always get very kind of critical of myself, but I'm still very proud of the album, and depending on the mood I'm in, if I'm in an upbeat kind of the sun's shining and I want to just drive, some of the more up-tempo songs, but essentially the song that I really like performing every night, and I've really fallen in love with this song. I guess if there was a favourite, it would be Never Alone. It's just always, I just think it's a really beautiful message, and I really feel like that song, I'm a big believer in fate, destiny, and synchronicity, and I really do believe I believe that the song was written for me, and Victoria Shaw, who wrote it with Sarah Buxton and Gary Burr, who are all 3 of them are major hit songwriters, have all had success together and on their own. Victoria says the funny thing is she began writing this song in Ireland after reading a bit of an Irish blessing. So for that reason, I just feel like this song was meant for me, and I really feel like this song is going to be a very special song for me. I see it every night in the shows when we toured with Dawn in the UK, and I'm seeing it just the same over here in America. It just feels like something special is going to happen with this song. So at the moment, it seems to be one of my favourites.
Okay, well, let's give it a spin. Colin, it's been wonderful. Thank you so much for talking to us, and we've really enjoyed it. All your fans over here, I'm sure they'll be very pleased to have heard you, and they'll be buying the album in droves, I'm sure. So here's Never Alone.
Thank you so much, and anytime, I'm here.
Good. I hope we'll chat again, because I've really enjoyed this. Thank you so much. Bye now.
Thank you.